Good morning. Good morning. Welcome or welcome back to Bookeemonsters. My name is PK. It is Friday, TGIF, September the 26th. We're here to look at the rest of the cozy mysteries that were published this week. We started on Monday, and there's just so many of them. On Wednesday, we looked at the crime fiction and thrillers, but there weren't a whole lot of those this week. So we did some more of the cozy mysteries, and these are the rest of them. All right. Elena said, "Good morning. How you doing, Elena?" "I'm doing a lot better than yesterday." "Oh, good." She says, "I'll see you tomorrow afternoon. Have a great weekend." "Well, back at you, babe." "Thank you so much." I said, "I'm so glad to hear that, and have a very good day on purpose." Quick announcements. I don't have any sprints tonight. I don't do them on Friday nights. We'll have them tomorrow afternoon at 3 p.m. Eastern. They go for 5 hours. Every Tuesday and Thursday evening and for Saturday afternoon. All right, cozy mysteries. First up, Witch Napped, 6th in the Murder Well Mysteries by B.G. Wood. It's all fun and games until a best-selling witch-lit author goes poof. Author Morgan Mallory is the Taylor Swift of paranormal fiction, with a fan base so passionate it's practically a coven, and just as many haters. Gina Belletti is neither. Since her divorce and a year of zero romantic prospects, she prefers her books spicy, her nights quiet, and her drama strictly fictional. But when her friend ropes her into a weekend trip to Portland, Oregon, complete with a Morgan Mallory author event at the iconic Powell's Books, Gina tags along more for the open bar than the spellcraft. Then Morgan disappears. What starts as a chaotic night turns into a real-life mystery, obsessive fans, bitter rivals, and cryptic clues that lead Gina into Portland's strangest corners. Excuse me. Occult-themed art galleries, secret societies, and book clubs that blur the line between fandom and folklore. Despite her skepticism about all things magical, Gina realizes she stumbled onto something much bigger than a missing author, something that could unravel long-held secrets about Morgan, the people around her, and even Gina herself. Turkey Telescopes and Talmadges, part of the Willowcroft Cozy Mystery series by Fran Heap. When mystery author Tammy Rumbelow takes a tumble on Willowcroft's icy street, she expects nothing more than bruised pride and bed rest. But forced into the care of knitting circle queen Mrs. Temperance, Tammy finds herself with a front row view of the town's quirks and possibly its secrets. Armed with crutches, a telescope, and her ever-watchful cat Lucky, Tammy launches her Snoop blog, a harmless way to pass the time. At least it seems harmless until strange behavior starts to look suspicious. Meanwhile, bookstore owner Olivia Huddlestone is deep in a genealogical puzzle that hits far too close to home and inspires unexpected visitors. But when history stirs up modern danger, uncovering the past becomes more than academic, it becomes urgent. As Thanksgiving approaches and the town gathers to celebrate gratitude and tradition, long-buried secrets rise to the surface, threatening to unravel more than family myths. Murder in Ravello by Anne Rose, 2nd in the International Foodie Mystery Series. A villa off the Amalfi Coast, a billionaire who hit on me, a wheel of Parmigiano Reggiano. What do they have in common? My worst Italian nightmare. When tech mogul Blair Rucker, the world's 4th richest man, invites my soon-to-be ex-husband Reed and me to his palatial Italian villa, I figure the worst part will be pretending our marriage isn't falling apart while filming our YouTube food show. I'm wrong. I'm dead wrong. After Rucker spends his birthday party flirting with me and making Reed see red, the arrogant billionaire ends up face down in his kitchen, bludgeoned by a wheel of Parmigiano Reggiano. With Reed as the prime murder suspect and a blackmail note from the Italian mafia, I'm at it again, racing against time to solve the mystery before I star in my own The Godfather as the dead blogger or Reed gets an orange jumpsuit made by Armani. My grandma always said life was like a souffle. One wrong move and everything collapsed, but I never thought she meant it literally. One is the deadliest number by Hadley Hartwell. 67-year-old Constance Kincaid. This is first in a new series. And her mischievous rescue cat, Mr. Cinnamon, are the newest residents of Cherry Hill, California, a quaint, relaxed tourism destination hit by hard times. The only business staying afloat is Chateau Savannah, the cat cafe, whose featured resident is, you guessed it, a wild-looking but super sweet Savannah, a serval mixed with a domestic. Eager to carve out a place in the community, Constance teaches a class on her favorite topic, the 9 personality types. To engage her bickering students and keep the class from being canceled, Constance likens them to amateur sleuths, unlocking the secrets of human nature to solve mysteries. It was only supposed to be a fun thought experiment. But when the once-loved Cherry Hill tourism trolley explodes, killing its driver, Constance and her students must put their knowledge to the test and catch a formidable foe. Because not only was Constance the last person to ride the trolley before the accident, she might have been the real target. End of that row. Cindy Bell has a new one this week. Awards, Adventure, and Accusations, 35th in the Dune House Cozy Mystery Series. Dune House, the majestic beachside B&B, is nominated for a hospitality award, but a rare lull in bookings, Susie and Mary hop on a private plane with their lovable lab pilot and set out for a weekend getaway to a beautiful country inn for another adventure. Things quickly take a deadly turn when one of the guests is found murdered. The police refuse to let anyone leave until the investigation is complete, so Susie and Mary do a little snooping and discover the victim had more enemies than friends. As the mystery deepens, it's clear this fun trip is turning into something far more dangerous. Can Susie and Mary find the murderer before someone else gives their final speech? Foul Play in the Foliage by Ruthie East, first in the Calliope Inn Cozy Mysteries. In the charming lake town of Oaks Rest, the biggest scandals usually involve who stole the best seat at the town hall meeting, that is, until someone turns up dead. Esther Bennett has finally landed her dream job managing the Calliope Inn, where visitors swap bustling Manhattan life for upstate foliage, crackling fireplaces, and freshly baked cookies. She left behind her family's high-status world years ago to create a slower-paced life on her own terms, and it's working, mostly. The inn is set to host this year's Makers and Merchants Festival, and Esther is juggling her first big event, pillow-obsessed guests, quirky townsfolk vendors, and forced weekly dinners with her doctor parents and golden child sister. The last thing she needs added to her plate, a murder. But when Esther stumbles on a body near the town square, she finds herself pulled into solving the mystery. With help from her staff and moral support from the inn's resident cat, Sesame, she's determined to untangle the web of clues that will lead her to the killer. I'm sure cats are thinking, my name is Nigel, not Mr. Cinnamon and not Sesame. Oh, 304 pages, 14 pages. Good for you. And I forgot to click on it. Oh, there you go. Sambuca Scarlet by Tracy Andrighetti, 10th in the Frankie Amato series. Wedding bells are ringing for Frankie Amato. She's overjoyed and overstressed. Family and friends have gathered in New Orleans to see her tie the knot, and her mom and Nana are giving her marital advice she'd rather not get. But the walk down the aisle takes a hard right when someone drops dead at Bradley's bachelor party, and he's the main suspect. With only 1 week to go until the big day, Frankie puts on her PI hat to save the date, quite literally. The investigation takes her places she'd rather not revisit, chief among them the creepy old pharmacy museum, the haunted garden behind St. Louis Cathedral, and her ex-stripper landlady's costume closet. Even spookier, there are ghostly goings-on at the pasta factory turned hotel where she's staying, and an unknown person is leaving anonymous objects too close to home in her room. Will Frankie identify the killer and get her happily ever after, or will till death do us part come far too soon? Festivals and Feuds by Cheryl Dugan, fourth in the Northern Lights Cozy Mysteries. Cassie thought she had finally found her second chance in the lakeside town of Northern Lights, but when programs are altered, performances disrupted, and tempers flare, she realizes someone is determined to see the festival fail. When her daughter becomes the prime suspect in a theft, Cassie faces an impossible choice between protecting her family and saving her community's reputation. With festival goers acting suspiciously and time running out, she must find the real culprit. Can Cassie expose the saboteur before Northern Lights loses everything, or will celebration end in disaster? End of that road. What time is it? We got about 10 minutes. I don't know if we're going to make it. Murder in the Winter Woods by Katie Gale, 8th in the Julia Bird Mysteries. It's Christmas in Berwick, the busiest time of the year for dashing taxi driver Lewis, but when he's killed in a road accident, the entire village is shaken. Julia Bird, recently appointed to the Road Safety Committee, visits the site so that no other villager suffers the same fate. But when she spies a pendant left in the bushes, she feels certain Lewis's death was no accident. As the festival lights twinkle in the village square, Julia vows to uncover the truth. She soon learns not everyone found Lewis's charm appealing. Sweet shop owner Dora says he had an eye for the ladies, much to his wife's frustration. Lewis recently gave his life savings to a mysterious businessman who proves difficult to track down, but could these be reasons enough to want him dead? I forgot to click on it again. I am so sorry. Donuts and Danger by Wendy Meadows, 9th in the Snow Falls, Alaska Cozies. Bethany Lights has solved plenty of mysteries in her cozy coffee shop, but none of them involve dodging avalanches while hunting bank robbers. When her devastated friend Julia Walsh insists on returning to the cursed ski resort on Ice Mountain, the same place they barely escaped alive before, Bethany fears their luck has finally run out. Julie's world has crumbled after her son's betrayal, and she sees the remote mountain resort as her only escape. But someone doesn't want them to reach their destination alive. Mysterious explosions trigger deadly avalanches, and soon Bethany realizes they're caught in the middle of a deadly hunt for $20 million in stolen money. With professional thieves, corrupt cops, and bone-chilling cold all trying to kill them, Bethany must rely on her amateur detective sleuths to keep her friends alive. Rose Pascoe has a new one in the Penrose and Pike series, 9th in that series, Shocking Deceptions. Dunedin society is up in arms as their valuables vanish without a trace from locked homes. Although the trail leads to an apparent dead end, private detective Charlie Penrose Pike catches the scent of a shadowy figure lurking behind the scenes. Meanwhile, Grace Penrose Pike's curiosity leaves her in a precarious position with life-changing consequences. After she is drawn into investigation of dubious medical devices, their combined talents will need to unravel this pair of shocking deceptions. This is set in 1890s New Zealand, this series. I've not read it, but I have been aware of it. Murder Most Scenic. I have another sneeze coming. Excuse me. This is by Nellie H. Steele, second in the Great Maine Mysteries. Still reeling from her sister's unexpected death, artist Emily Harper isn't convinced Becky's fall down the grand staircase was an accident. But when a hidden journal resurfaces along with cryptic notes and eerie visions, Emily begins to suspect her sister was on the verge of uncovering something dangerous. Then a body is discovered at Bass Harbor Head Lighthouse, and the past crashes into the present. A local historian has been murdered, one who may have known the truth about Becky's final days. With storm clouds rolling in, a killer determined to keep the past buried, and a locket that raises more questions than answers, Emily must decide, should she chase the truth, even if it leads her straight into danger? End of that row. 6 more minutes. Can we do it? I don't think we can. Murder in the Painted Mask by Lee Strauss, 27th in the Ginger Gold Mysteries. Lady Ginger Gold and her husband Basil head to the countryside for a weekend of elegance and art at the estate of Lady Horatia Zouche Nettleby. But beneath the glamour of a masked ball and a private auction swirl whispers of blackmail, betrayal, and a scandal from Ginger's own family past. When a provocative artist is found gruesomely murdered, Ginger must unmask a killer before the next secret turns deadly. See? That's how they should be done. Just enough to get you intrigued to check it out further. You don't need to know the whole plot. End of rant. An Unlikely Escape, second in the Unlikely Murder Club by Gina X. Grant. Stuck serving her sentence in unlikely New York, Agatha Shadwell is giving the straight life a try, for now. So when prison escapee Big Phyllis shows up in her kitchen begging for help to clear her name, Agatha says no. Nicely, because you don't poke the convicted killer. Phyllis swears she didn't murder all those men, and now someone's trying to kill her. Agatha's ready to kick her uninvited guests to the curb, but Phyllis has a way of making people do what she wants, whether they like it or not. Fearing the worst, Agatha agrees to look at the evidence. As more bodies surface and the case unravels, Agatha starts to wonder, is Phyllis the killer or the next victim? With Special Agent Martin Kopp retired, his hacker granddaughter Echo, and one very good dog named Chance, Agatha digs through swampy secrets, false confessions, and one very telling tattoo. Drama, Deception, and Double Cross by Brittany E. Brinegar. Didn't we already do? No, we didn't. 13th in the Twin Bluebonnet Ranch Mysteries. The mission. Survive the game. The twist. One contestant isn't acting. Twin sisters Lizzie and Samantha Brown are no strangers to competition, but when they join Spooks, a spy-themed reality show filmed at an abandoned hospital, the game takes a deadly turn. Contestants must outwit, deceive, and eliminate their rivals until only one remains. When Samantha kills Lizzie in a dramatic elimination, Lizzie expects to spend the rest of the game in the isolation bunker. Instead, she stumbles into a real-life mystery. Fellow contestant Cook Kingston has vanished, and the only witness was left unconscious during the attack. The show was supposed to be staged, but someone is playing for keeps. Death in Pilgrim's Wood, second in the Three Villages Mysteries by J.P. Fraser. Autumn 1977. One dead body, 150 vol-au-vents, and a village scandal that refuses to stay buried. When Katrina Cameron, cookbook author and reluctant sleuth, discovers a body on a secluded bridle path, she becomes embroiled in a mystery as tangled as the brambles in Pilgrim's Wood. The police are quick to dismiss Laura Sage's death as an accident, but Katrina isn't so sure. One by one, cryptic notes begin to appear, rumors swirl, and beneath Downcliff's genteel surface lurks a knot of twisted secrets involving shady developers, illicit affairs, and a detective inspector determined to keep the truth buried. End of that row. We're not going to make it. We're going to have to do drive-bys. None the Wiser by Victoria Kazarian, 8th in the Laughing Loaf Bakery series. There are recipes included. Final arrangements. Well, here's the shortest one of all. The description is coming soon. Third in the Afterlife Files by Paula Lester. You have to buy it to find out. Here's a fun one. Killer Candy Corn. Fourth in the Sea Glass Beach Mysteries. That is a bright cover by Amelia Pine. A Dangerous Scoop by Angela K. Ryan, 12th in the Seaside Ice Cream Shop Mysteries. Some scoops are sweet, others are deadly. Ghastly Gramophone by A. Albright, 7th in the Museum of Magical Artifacts. And last one, Murder at the Writers' Conference by Michelle Corber. Part of the Write Club Mystery Books, 4th. So 4th in that series. All right. That is everything in Mysteryland being published this week. Whee! All right. Thank you so much for watching. We'll look at a whole new batch on Monday. Hope you have a good weekend. Again, I don't have sprints tonight. If you are into sprinting, our next sprints are tomorrow afternoon at 3 p.m. Eastern, and they go for 5 hours. Bring your own book, work on a project, be creative, relax after having a tough week, because you deserve it. Alrighty, thank you so much. And as the banner says here, don't be a bookworm, be a bookie monster. Have a good day and God bless.